John Foster, a rising star in country music who was just 19 years old at the time, came onto the venerable stage of the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee, on the evening of July 12, 2025, and delivered a performance that would carve his name into the annals of country music history. The loud acclaim of a standing ovation engulfed him as he went off the stage, and the tears that he had been holding back during his set suddenly began to flow freely. "I was able to hold back my tears until I was walking off stage," Foster wrote in an emotional post because the moment I stepped out of view, they started flowing. Foster was also able to hold back his sorrow until he was walking off stage. A moment that Foster said he would never forget was when he was given such an accolade on his 19th birthday. While performing on the most prestigious stage in the country music industry, he mused, "If there's one thing I'm feeling right now, it's why me, Lord." He expressed his gratitude to his supporters and his faith with a heart that was full of devotion. Let the glory be to God. There is a star born. The narrative of how John Foster made his way to the stage of the Opry is one that is filled with unbridled talent, unyielding tenacity, and an unbreakable connection to his roots. Foster, who was up in a tiny town in the countryside of Georgia, was exposed to the music of country music legends such as Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, and Dolly Parton during his formative years. From a young age, his parents, who were both passionate about music, supported and pushed him to pursue his passion for singing and songwriting. By the time he was 15 years old, Foster was already performing at local fairs and churches. His deep, soulful voice and songs that came from the heart earned him a devoted following in his town. The year 2024 was the year that he had his big break when he participated in an audition for a nationwide talent competition called Country Rising Stars. This competition featured unsigned musicians who were competing for the opportunity to perform at the Grand Ole Opry. The judges were enthralled by Foster's original song, Dirt Road Dreams, which was a moving tribute to his childhood. The song also caused fans all throughout the country to feel powerful emotions. He was able to propel himself to the top of the competition thanks to the fervent support of his fans, who voted for him. "Thank you so much to everyone who voted and supported me on this journey," Foster wrote recognizing the grassroots support that propelled him to Nashville. "I truly appreciate it. A night that will last a lifetime." Since its founding in 1925, the Grand Ole Opry has been an indispensable pillar of country music. It is more than just a venue. It is a holy place where legends are created. It was a dream come true for Foster when he finally had the chance to perform on the Opry stage on his 19th birthday. He had been imagining this moment ever since he first picked up a guitar. Taking the stage with his guitar in hand, he sang Dirt Road Dreams and a cover of Chris Christopherson's Why Me, which was a tribute to his faith and humility. He was dressed in a simple denim jacket and his distinctive cowboy hat, and he emanated a quiet confidence as he did so. The audience was silent as Foster strummed the first chords because they were so enthralled by the unfiltered emotion that was coming from his voice. The vivid picture that his poems presented was one that was both universal and profoundly personal. His lyrics were immersed in the imagery of dusty roads, familial bonds, and problems that were common in small towns. When he reached the chorus of Why Me, his voice was soaring with appreciation and vulnerability. By the time he reached that point, the crowd was enthusiastically cheering and standing up. His performance was not the only reason for the standing ovation that followed. It was also for the sincerity and the heart that he brought to the stage. Later on, Foster shared his thoughts with a local news site, saying, "I was trying so hard to keep it together up there. On the other hand, when I walked away and heard that crowd, it hit me all at once. This is happening, this is occurring in real life." This event seemed to have been divinely choreographed, and the tears that flowed down his face as he exited the platform were a mixture of delight, disbelief, and thankfulness for the experience. When asked about his experience, he stated, "To be 19 and standing on the Opry stage with people cheering like that, it's more than I could have ever dreamed of. The support of the community. The victory that Foster achieved was a victory that was shared by his supporters, his family, and the little community that Foster grew up in. As they saw their son show off his talents, his parents in an interview who were there in the crowd. However, it is overwhelming to see him on that stage, especially when one considers how hard he has worked. According to his father, a farmer who was the source of inspiration for the visuals of Dirt Road Dreams. This is his moment, but it's for all of us who believed in him at the time. The internet response was just as sincere as the offline one. On the other hand, Foster's post was overwhelmed with sentiments of encouragement and pride from his fans. "John, you are deserving of every single second of that ovation," wrote one of your fans. "It is a blessing from God that you have a voice." Another someone remarked, "Happy birthday, and congratulations on making history at the Opry." This individual said. Additionally, singers like as Chris Young and Ashley McBride praised Foster's performance, demonstrating that the outpouring of love extended to veterans of the country music genre. According to a tweet from McBride, "That kid has soul. The Opry has just found its next generation of talent." Both faith and humility are essential. At the core of Foster's journey is his deeply ingrained religion, which he attributes to being the compass that led him through the ups and downs of his young career. It was a deliberate decision on his part to perform "Why Me?", which reflects his conviction that his talent and opportunities are blessings. During an interview that took place after the performance, Foster stated, "I repeatedly asked myself, 'Why me, Lord? I'm just a kid from Georgia, and I'm trying to figure out how I got here. This must be God's plan for the future.'" Amidst a profession that is sometimes characterized by flash and glamour, his humility strikes a chord with his followers, who perceive in him a revitalizing authenticity. Additionally, Foster's faith is a source of inspiration for his songwriting, which combines the conventional narratives of country music with a contemporary edge. The song "Dirt Road Dreams," which paints a vivid picture of gravel roads and family dinners, pulls significantly from his childhood, while more recent songs in his repertoire explore topics such as love, loss, and the ability to persevere in the face of adversity. As a result of his ability to connect with listeners through themes that are accessible, he has been compared to early career Luke Combs and Chris Stapleton, which positions him as a voice for a new generation of country music fans. A promising future lies ahead. Foster is currently receiving offers from record labels and is making preparations for the publication of his debut extended play, EP, in the beginning of 2026. The performance at the Opry represents a turning moment for Foster. The CD, which will be titled Roots and Roads, is expected to demonstrate his impressive compositional abilities as well as his unique voice. The statement that Foster made was, "I want to tell stories that matter to people. Not only my tale, but also the stories of people who, like me, come from humble beginnings but have lofty aspirations." As a result of his performance at the Opry, the first single from the EP, titled Dirt Road Dreams, is gradually gaining popularity on various streaming platforms. In addition to his musical endeavors, Foster is dedicated to giving back to the community. As a tribute to the church choir, which is where he first became aware of his voice, he recently made public his intention to organize a benefit performance in his hometown with the purpose of granting financial support to local youth music programs. According to him, "It is worth it if I can help even one kid find their passion," and he mentioned this. Fans have a preference for him because of his down-to-earth personality and his unwavering commitment to his roots. They view him as a character that is relevant in an industry, and the recollection of the standing ovation he received at the Grand Ole Opry continues to serve as a source of inspiration and validation for him. He remarked on, "I'll never forget the sound of that crowd, the feeling of knowing I was exactly where I was meant to be." He said this in reference to the crowd. The tears that he shed as he exited the stage were not just on his own, but also on behalf of the numerous individuals who had supported him, including his family, his fans, and the community of his hometown that had influenced him. Foster is destined to become a monumental figure in the world of country music because he possesses a heart that is overflowing with appreciation and a voice that conveys the weight of his experiences. His debut at the Opry, which was defined by unfiltered emotion and brilliance that cannot be denied, is just the beginning. It was on July 12, 2025, when the Grand Ole Opry welcomed a new star, and John Foster responded to the question, "Why me, Lord?" with a resounding "Glory be to God." He carries with him the echoes of that night as he navigates the road that lies ahead of him.